Good evening, and welcome to Progressive Matters, the show where it's our mission to empower you with the information you need to engage in conversations that matter. Today, we delve into the unprecedented chaos and infighting within the Republican Party as they struggle to fill the currently vacant seat for the Speaker of the House.
House Republicans chose Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan to be their nominee for Speaker in a secret ballot vote on Friday. Jordan beat Georgia Congressman Austin Scott 124-81. He is the second Republican to win the conference nomination. Majority Leader Steve Scalise was chosen earlier this week but dropped out Thursday night after failing to gain full support from his party.
In a bizarre twist of events, Jim Jordan, who the Center for Effective Lawmaking rated as the 202nd most effective Republican in the House of Representatives out of 205 2 years ago, and his hard-right allies have launched a pressure campaign against the only sane Republicans left who oppose his bid for the Speaker's seat. And despite winning the party's nomination for the position, Jordan is still far from securing the 217 votes required to claim the gavel, falling 65 short. This has led to an onslaught of divisive tactics as his supporters take to social media and the airwaves, openly attacking those they believe are obstructing Jordan's path to victory. It's a page ripped straight from the playbook of Donald Trump, who supports the former wrestling coach that was accused by 4 former wrestlers of failing to protect him from abuse at the hands of then-team Dr. Richard Strauss.
Jim Jordan called me crying, begging me to go against my brother. Begging me. Crying for a half hour. That's the kind of cover-ups that's going on there. Jim Jordan called me several times after that. That week, I had to have my lawyer call him, tell him to stop calling me. I had a teammate, George Pardos, I called and told him, call Jim Jordan and tell him to quit calling me or I'm going to beat his ass. He's throwing us under the bus, all of us. He's a coward. He's a coward. He's not a leader. He's a coward. I would never abandon my team. He abandoned us. Our head coach abandoned us. He's flipped his story. He called other people to flip their story. He called Mark Coleman to flip his story. He called his parents, 90 years old. That's the kind of person Jim Jordan is.
This approach echoes the divisive tactics that contributed to the House GOP's current leadership crisis, which has paralyzed the House of Representatives. Right-wing activists have even compiled a list of a dozen alleged holdout Republicans, making them prime targets in their onslaught by posting their phone numbers online. These lawmakers who refuse to support Jordan face relentless pressure from their party's unstable and oftentimes confrontational base. Jordan's decision to send lawmakers home over the weekend, rather than keeping them in Washington for further discussions on the matter, is a calculated move to intensify that pressure. Dissenting Republicans, like Representative John Rutherford, face backlash from the hard right as they become targets in this internal war.
Because what you just saw from Congressman John Rutherford was selfish and bad for the country and childish. It is beyond any type of rational explanation to say that because he's got a problem with me, he's not going to vote for Jim Jordan. I'm not running for Speaker of the House. And true public servants would not use Jim Jordan as their whipping boy because they're mad at me for removing Kevin McCarthy.
This pressure campaign is marked by the trademark personal attacks and attempts to force compliance of sycophants of Trump and his cronies. In the midst of this chaos and infighting, the Republican Party faces a stark choice. Will they allow the far right to dictate their leadership, or will they opt for a more moderate and principled approach?
CNN can report that the House Select Committee investigating the attack on the Capitol now has White House records that reveal details of a phone call.
2 sources who have reviewed the call records tell CNN that Trump spoke on a phone at the White House residence with Jordan for 10 minutes that morning. And that afternoon, Jordan took to the House floor to object to the certification of President Joe Biden's Electoral College win, and pro-Trump supporters attacked the U.S. Capitol.
Jim Jordan had communications with then-President Donald Trump on the day of January 6th and was also communicating with the White House between the 2020 election and the January 6th attack in what they say was an attempt to overturn the result of the 2020 election there.
The battle for the Speaker of the House is symbolic of a party at war with itself. So stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding Republican drama on Progressive Matters. And remember, get educated and get out and vote.